G'day, it's Hillboy, and this is LastXplorer's In the Shed. We've got an absolutely cracking episode for you this week, so kick back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey guys, Andy here from LastXplorer. Project Rangie, it's back. So the last time you would have seen Project Rangie, I was about to limp home from the Victorian high country. It took about 11 hours to get home, 4.5 litres of water, but we made it back and got to the workshop the next day, got it diagnosed, vehicle was fixed. What was it? Well, it wasn't the water pump at all. It looked like the water pump. Nothing kind of prepared us for not being the water pump. Even the mechanics thought it was the water pump at first. So the engine was all stripped back, inspecting the cooling system, and when they got there, they pressure tested the system. It turned out to be a hairline crack in the water distribution valve, which sends water between the two banks of cylinders. This was only showing up under high pressure, and unfortunately, going up Blue Rag and up the hills in the high country, obviously that pressure was going up and it was spewing water out and caused that hairline crack to leak. All fixed now. Cost a little bit to fix, but all good. No engine work, no engine damage was done, which is even better. And she's back. So what else has happened to the Rangie since then? Well, those of you that follow us on Instagram will have seen the side got hit by a truck whilst it was parked a couple of weeks ago. Did a fair bit of damage to the wing, nearly pulled the snorkel off the side as well, which was great. Managed to get a second-hand wing though from a wrecker's yard, same colour, same year, for a reasonable price, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks that'll go back on. What else? I've also fitted some rear park or reversing lights, stroke camp lights to the back of the roof rack. It'll help when we're setting up camp, especially if we roll in late at night. And I've also lifted the false floor in the boot. One of the things I found on the high country was getting access to that area underneath, or to the wheel carrier, was a pain in the backside. So what I've done is I've fitted a raised floor. It's about 60mm raised, which gives me just enough room there to get the wrench in there to get the wheel carrier out, so I don't have to pull everything out of the car if I need to access anything under there. That will help me a hell of a lot, especially on a trip, especially with the next trip we've got coming up. So where am I today? Well, today we're up at Bells Liner Road, just over at the Zig Zag Railway, so we're going to go and have a look up at the Glowworm Tunnel and probably the Lost City. From here, it'll be a good test as well for the vehicle, make sure everything's running fine for the next big trip, and also a good shakedown on the new suspension. Yes, I've changed the suspension. I've gone for a coil spring conversion on the Rangie. I know that's going to upset a lot of the purists out there, but hey, can't please everybody. I've gone with DriveTech Enduro shocks, which have got a very good reputation. Decent sized shock absorber, 2-year warranty, 60,000 kilometers. I've also gone with heavy duty King springs. I was a little bit nervous about fitting heavy duty springs, as they're for a Disco 3 as well, which is a slightly heavier vehicle. But on the ride up here, it's been great. If anything, it's a little bit softer than it used to be, probably because of the Disco springs and not Range Rover Sport springs. We'll see how it goes off-road today and keep you updated.
Folks, this is one of our favourite ways to make coffee on the road. I've had this little AeroPress unit that's down in front of me now for about, I would say, nearly 6 years, and it's come all over the world with me on bike trips, four-wheel drive trips, boat trips. It's really reliable. I think it only cost me £40 when I bought it up in Scotland. It's about $50 in Australia now, but you'll never need a second one. These things are bloody good. They're halfway between a French press and sort of an espresso coffee, and all it takes is grinding fresh coffee like I am now, if you like your local coffee. Otherwise, just grab ground coffee from the supermarket. And it takes about 90 seconds to make a good cuppa, and you can split it between two. So usually I put it in 2 cups, then split it and top each up with water. So really reliable. It's great for just boiling the billy like this on the side of the road, grinding some beans, and all you do is just whack it together. There's a little metal filter that we've replaced the paper filter with. It's just a bit easier and a bit more sustainable to use a metal filter and wash it out on the road. So you put your coffee in, get your water, which I've just boiled, nice and hot too. So once you boiled the water, put the AeroPress with the coffee in it on top of the cup. I usually just wet the little rubber to make sure it expands nicely. And then you pour in your water, pour a bit in, stir around just to make sure it doesn't all gunk up at the bottom, and fill it up. There are 2 ways to make this. Kim likes to do it inverted, upside down, so it doesn't drip through into the cup too soon. I find this way is just as easy and you still get a good cuppa. As long as you whack the top in like this, it'll stop it from dripping down. Take about 90 seconds to brew, and then off you go, you've got your cup of coffee. So there are a million ways to do it on the road. We've tried a couple of different ones. Keep coming back to this one because it's simple, easy, repeatable and reliable. So there you go, folks. Nice hot cup of coffee on the side of the road, using only a few little bits that you keep in the back of your four-wheel drive. I rely on it, I love it, and I'll keep using it.
Hey guys, those that know me know me that I've been running these tyres for about 18 months now, so they've had about 25,000 kilometres worth of use on them. I love them, I'll be honest. The Falken Wildpeak AT3s are the new all-terrain from Falken. They've been fantastic. I checked the wear the other day on them. They started off with about 11 mil. They're down to about 8 mil now all around, which on 25,000 kilometres it's pretty good going as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of highway stuff, a lot of off-road stuff as well, so including the high country, including Fraser, including some sloppy mud up and around the New South Wales hinterland, New South Wales dividing range areas. So it worked really well. I really like the fact that, as you can see on here, grooves in the middle are quite tight, so they work well on the road, but the outer edges are pretty open, so they dig in quite well on the mud. We also got on the sides here some nice aggressive blocks, so they really do dig in well. Just off where the bead sits onto the tyre, there's actually some heat dissipation strips, which actually help keep the tyre cool, especially when you're running low pressures at slightly higher speeds. From what I've seen, it all seems to work really well, especially as we noticed on Fraser when we were running down at about 18 psi. Got some exciting news as well regarding Falken. We'll be announcing that in the next few days. All good. I love these tyres. They worked really well over a lot of different conditions, and I'd recommend them to a lot of people.
G'day. In episode 1 of In the Shed, Matty told you what it was like to live in the 23-0 king size swag for a week. We've had some awesome feedback which basically told us we messed up. Whilst we told you how good the swag was, we didn't tell you anything about it. So let's have a closer look at some of the features of this swag. It's a freestanding, extra large king size swag made from 14-ounce proofed polycotton ripstop canvas. In other words, you could turn it upside down and use it as a boat. With high quality zips all around, you can get in from this side or this side. Being 1100 mil wide, there's enough room inside to swing a cat. With 2 pockets at each end to stash your phone and keys at night, it also has super fine insect mesh for keeping the nasties out. Not to mention the heavy duty PVC bucket floor. And to keep you off the ground, a 50mm high density foam mattress. Not to forget the poles and pegs get their own good quality bags to keep it all tidy. So there you go, that's the 23-0 king size swag. And just quietly, we love it.
Hey there, Andy from LastXplorer. Heading out to a place called Zig Zag Railway and the Glowworm Tunnel. It's one of my favourite little spots. I've been there a few times now. I haven't been there for probably a good 2 or 3 years, mind. And it's a good place really to give the Rangie a good shakedown with the new suspension and stuff. So before we do the big trip out towards the outback in July. So keep you posted. It should all be going well. And there we go. Okay, so we've just left the meeting point. We're heading off towards the Glowworm Tunnel. Well, after the Glowworm Tunnel, we're probably going to head over to the Lost City, depending on how we're going for time, and maybe explore some of the other tracks in between. Running with the new suspension on is a little bit bumpy, probably because of the heavy duty springs, but we'll see how we go with it. So in the group today we've got a mix of Pajero Sports. We've got 2 Pajero Sports, an FJ Cruiser, Toyota Hilux, and obviously me in the Range Rover Sport.
Anyone trying that out on a wombat hole?
We can probably do a few.
I'll show you a good one if you want. Or we can do a bypass up here, sort of off to the left.
Okay, so yeah, let's just see how we go, I reckon.
You want to try it or not?
Yeah, if you want, we'll have a look. Do have gearboxes playing up the lofts. First little challenge completed. Worked well, vehicle worked well, made it up okay. I noticed there's a little bit less flex on the vehicle than there used to be, probably because of the active airbag system's not working quite, obviously no longer there. but everything else seems to be working fine. The vehicle did okay. Not really set up for that kind of thing, but it all worked well.
Really well set up highlights.
So after our quick play at the Powerlines track, we rejoined the Glowworm Tunnel Road and headed through Wollemi National Park and headed up to the Glowworm Tunnel. The first tunnel we come to is tunnel number 1 and the Glowworm Tunnel is tunnel number 2. So tunnel number 2, which is the longer of the two, is also known as the Glowworm Tunnel. You can only access it via foot and it's about an hour's walk round trip. It's well worth the walk, but seeing the glowworms in the tunnel is awesome. Just remember, don't shine your lights on them, because if you shine your light on them, you won't see them.
Here's the tunnel. We just snap this part off. Guys, it's the tunnel. What? Here's the tunnel. Well, yes. I'll show you.
It's the longest drawn out suffering I've ever seen.
So after our long walk and quick lunch, we rejoined Glowworm Tunnel Road and started heading back.
Our mate, Matty Hawk, he's living the dream. He's living life on the road with his Mrs. Kim. And just before we close out, we're going to have a quick look at what he's been up to over the last couple of months. And we'd be lying if we said it didn't make us just a little bit jealous.